Okay, here I am with a few more thoughts on fame and success, prompted, of course, by the video that I recorded yesterday. Although I think I'll post this video maybe the day after. Maybe I'll post part one today, and this part two I'll leave for tomorrow, just because my first video went a little long, and I really don't want to be tedious with this stuff, but I also want to be able to just expound on what I have to say. And put it all out there, maybe in somewhat raw form, but I think this is something I'll want to come back to, um, with a little greater focus, maybe in writing or something like that. In spite of what I said the other day about my suspicion being that a lot of people, if not the vast majority of people who find themselves to be celebrities, who find themselves famous, um, were probably chosen ahead of time. It was probably a contrived phenomenon that they became famous in one way or another. And I spoke, in a way somewhat disparagingly of them, or of just the whole process of celebrity, and just that there was something inauthentic and artificial about how they were picked, how they were selected. It wasn't just that we tested all these people, and these are the people who came in off the street, and you know and really just knocked it out of the park in their auditions, and so they got this huge role which opened up all these doors for them. And or we got their demo tape, and it was just like, wow, we've never heard anything like this before, and we've got to sign these guys, and so forth and so on. It just doesn't work that way, I don't think, in most cases. I think it's just there's it's a much more contrived phenomenon. They don't leave things open for chance as much as we would like to think, because the myth that they have us believe in is that anybody can be famous. These famous, and that celebrities are just normal people who got famous because they got their big break, and they were talented, and they met, and their drive and ambition paid off. And I just don't think it works that way. I don't know. I don't claim to know, because who am I? I'm a nobody. I'm a relative nobody. I'm a low tier. If I'm a celebrity, I like the lowest tier celebrity possible, like ZZZ list. Like there's A list, B list. I know I have some fame and notoriety in a niche, very niche sort of way, but I'm basically a nobody. Um, Now, having said all of the stuff that I said, you know, the disparaging, negative stuff that I said in the last video, I also have to admit there are a lot of celebrities that I like. There are a lot of actors that I like. There are a lot of directors that I like. There's a lot of musicians and bands that I like. Um, I was, of course, at the this past summer. I finally saw Duran Duran for the first time in years. My favorite band as a kid. Um, and I was giddy, to see them, and it was so exciting, and I felt like a 15-year-old all over again, in a good way. As I said afterwards. So it's not like I'm totally. Uh, it's not like I just think I turn up my nose at anybody who's famous, and it's not like people who are famous haven't reached me very deeply, and on an artistic level, and Since I'm an artsy kind of guy, since I'm into the arts, I'm into reading, I'm into cinema, I'm into music, and all that kind of stuff. A lot of like what I know. I think most of what I know is from cinema and and movies or cinema is movies, but it's from cinema, music, and etc. You know, even literature, my chosen field, um, is from people who are famous, who made it big, who were discovered, and given a chance to put their stuff out there in front of to have their work be exposed and promoted heavily. Promoted. That's a big deal. You've got to have somebody out there getting in front of the world and promoting you and making you look cool and exciting and like something that would be interesting to see, interesting to behold, interesting to listen to. So I'm aware of what's called parasocial relationships, where it's a one-way relationship where you're a fan. Whether it's with an athlete, whether it's with an actor or a musician or whatever. I get like having this kind of one-way relationship where this person means a lot to you just because they've genuinely affected you. They've genuinely affected your aesthetic um, um, take on the world, and they've affected maybe in some ways your spirituality, maybe in some ways your morality, or whatever. Maybe you admire them, um, for this, that, or the other thing, or you just think they're just extremely talented, and their their art speaks to you. You can relate to it, and when people can relate to art, there is something very authentic feeling about that. You feel like they've touched your heart, and they've spoken to your soul, and they've read your mind. It's like, that's me. That's literally me. That we've heard a lot about the literally me phenomenon. This is where all of that takes shape, takes form, takes hold. But it's a strange position to be in when you're as cynical about this whole process and as suspicious about what goes on in the corridors of power and what these people have to do to become famous, and maybe the kind of moral shortcuts that they have to make. Like Glenn Campbell saying, there's going to be a lot of compromising on the way to my horizon, but I want to be where the lights are shining on me, like a rhinestone cowboy. That says it all. Like, what's the compromising? Like, what is it? Just I'll change my sound a little bit to appeal to a broader audience. Is that the extent of the compromising, or is it like, oh, I'm not gay, but I'll suck this guy's, this powerful guy's, what? I'll do that. I don't want to do it, but I'll do it because I'm eager to be famous. I'll do whatever I have to do to be famous. And yeah. Oh, you want me to kill someone? You want me to participate in a ritual sacrifice? Well, that's kind of something that I really would rather not do. But I mean, maybe it will all be worthwhile, because it's too bad that I had to participate in this murder. but I believe in my artistic vision, and it'll all be justified by the fact that the world gets to see my artistic vision, and that'll bring so much good to the world, even though I had to literally kill someone or rape someone or do some other awful thing, participate in some ghastly ritual or other. And this isn't just like I think this stuff actually happens. I want to make that clear. Uh, I'm not exaggerating. I you know to well, I mean, we know, like, the casting couch, that's notorious. We know that there's a cat. I mean, that's it's been talked about. There are plenty of stories that have already emerged. So you can't just be totally naive about this stuff. And in our day and age, I don't think you can. I think there's a lot more exposure of stuff. Even if it gets denied, it's still out there. Like when you think Richard, just to take it in a really gross direction for a second, when you hear about the actor Richard Gere, what comes to mind for you? For a lot of us, we hear Richard Gere and we think gerbil. That's the first thing we think of when we hear the name Richard Gere. Richard Gere, an actor who came into prominence in the 80s. Um, Now, I don't know whether the gerbil tale is real or not, but anyway, there might, if it's not true, there are probably far worse things that are true about fame and celebrity. So there's the contrivance of just that Hollywood is or the music biz, the whole prominent artistic scene is compromised in the sense that it's built out of this wish to construct to affect people's minds, to push people in a certain way or other, to propagandize people, to get people to believe in this, that, or the other thing, to get people to feel this particular way about this particular issue, to nudge them towards certain notions, entertaining certain notions, uh, and most of the time it's more subtle than what we saw with Cuties, the notorious movie Cuties, uh, or with the kind of performers who take part in things like Drag Queen Story Hour and etc. Most of the time it's a lot more subtle than that, but probably often just as filthy as that. So, on the one hand, all of these contrivances, all of these, uh, all of this astroturfing that surely goes on, this desire to just create these sounds, and like where does the actual where does someone who with an actual unique vision all his own, how does he fit in with all of that, right? Is he allowed to have a sound all his own, or is it like, hey kid, this is what you're gonna sound like now? If you want to be famous, first you gotta suck my dick, then you gotta rape these kids, then you gotta sacrifice I don't know, these people to Moloch, uh, and you gotta wear a cloak and participate in these ghastly ceremonies. But then we're gonna let you have an album, and we're gonna push it hard, and because you've earned your way, kid, and but you can't sound like that. You can't sound like you wanted to sound like. You gotta take direction from this music producer who's gonna make you sound this way. You gotta, you weren't, and I know, and hey, honey, I know you weren't into like being all slutty and like showing your body and moaning and groaning orgasmically. You just wanted to sing songs that were from the heart, and that was all. That was really cute, honey. And we all like you. We all like you a lot. But really, honestly, if you want to make it big in this business, you gotta shake that money maker, baby. You gotta take advantage of your assets, and you're a good-looking girl. So I'm obviously assuming the role of a sleazy Hollywood executive right now, or music business executive. You know, and again, I'm not being uh, I can't think of the word. Damn, I'm not exaggerating when I'm giving these examples. These are the kind of things that I think actually happen. So it's a filthy business, filthy things going on, and it's also, even if you take out all of the filthiness and all of the depravity, there's also the question. There's also just the fact that it's seemingly an extremely contrived business. Just getting back to the weird scenes inside the canyon by Dave McGowan, what he exposes there. This whole hippie thing. It came out of that supposedly came out of the Laurel Canyon community was did not just spontaneously arise. Um, you look even a little closely at this whole scene and what it took to bring it about, and you see, there's a hidden hand working here. We don't always know to what end, but it is definitely at work. So, let me just conclude by thinking of a particular example of I racked my brain trying to think, do I know people, do I know anybody who became famous? And I remember that I did actually kind of know, I did kind of have a brush with fame back in the early 90s, and maybe I'll save that for another video, though, because I think I want to keep these a little shorter. So let me end this one here.